aunt's services.
Yep.
Oh.
There we go. And we
Very
are
sorry to
now
hear about that still.
live.
Hey, everybody.
What's
Hi.
up?
How's it going? Mel, do you want to talk about that at all at the end of the main show for parting words, or do you want to talk about it now at all, or?
Let's do it in parting. I mean, do you guys have anything else for parting words?
Not really.
Okay, perfect. Then that's what it'll
All right,
be.
yeah.
And
Was anybody a cunt this week? Just checking. I have to check
throw it
every
over to
week.
you.
Just Erling Holland again.
Yeah. I'll throw that over to you, Mel. So just be ready to rock and roll with that.
Be humble, Graham. Be humble.
Fucking Yorkshire pudding faced cunt.
Don't throw out show titles before the show starts.
I know exactly.
I already said it on the internet 6 times.
And give a chance for a few people to catch in because we are early.
Yeah, I know.
And, well, on time from what the graphic was, which is nice.
Yeah, I'll look up a few things here.
Yeah, I got my bet worked out.
Oh, good, very good.
Which is good. Needed that because that was the only thing I hadn't done yet. I wanted to see how today's game went and all that kind
Now,
of stuff.
I'm fairly certain this was supposed to be drank 2 weeks ago,
Oh, well.
but I'm not sure, so I will taste it.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's in
Haven't
an
I-
airtight container and been
haven't-
kept refrigerated.
Airtight. Yeah.
Yeah, airtight. We're looking at you, Mel. All right, there we go.
For what?
Yeah, you're pouring it, so I guess it's fine. All right. Thank you very much, Producer Mel. Appreciate that. Yeah, how about this,
All right, so
kids?
I'm gonna go ahead and just end injury.
We're all
sound
back.
check.
Okay, we're all back in the
I
fucking
realized we're
studio.
still recording sound check.
Yes,
Yeah, I've
we
got
are.
nothing happening. I'm good. Whatever you want.
All right. Export.
Mel, you might want to drink the water off your ice.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You want to pass me your glass? I'll pour you a little whiskey.
Oh, no, it's just a wee drop. Just trying to explain to somebody that I only drink professionally. And they were like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, no. And unless I'm working, I'm not drinking. And I only drink when I work. And my work involves drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's legitimately the truth. Although this weekend I wasn't feeling so hot. I was having a little bit of issues. So I was doing my fake drink. Which the Rams head people think that's so funny.
Mel was having a little bit of issues, or I like to call every morning I wake up with Mel.
I was going to say, I drink for my job, and I'm on the clock 24/7.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Bazinga.
It just makes people feel more comfortable if I've got a drink in my hand when I'm telling the stories. And I don't always like to drink or can't drink. And so this weekend it was my 85% ginger ale in a pint glass with no ice. And then the rest is Coke. And then stir it really hard. And there you go. I've got a cider or a blonde ale or something that no one's going to question.
Yeah. You can always do what I did when I had to cut back for a bit. Just do like a little watered down sweet tea. Diluted sweet tea looks just like whiskey.
Yeah.
I need the liquid.
Tea is liquid.
And
Yeah,
whiskey
but
wouldn't be enough liquid
Oh, you need
unless
the
I'm drinking a pint
excess.
glass.
I gotcha.
because I'm also having to.
I was like, that is liquid.
I'm like, yeah. So I'd be drinking
It's
9
not a
of
gas.
Right.
It was gas at one point.
these. Oh my god, the tour guide. She had 9 whiskeys. It was insane.
Yeah. She's a fucking machine.
I did do that once at Harry Brown's. It was hot. It was over the summer and it was hot and I was fake drinking. I killed 2 of those like super fast and I realized, oh, I need to be careful.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm a lush.
Because I killed one while I was waiting for everybody to go to the room, and then I
Right.
killed the other during the stories, and I was just like, oh, right.
So do we got any people hanging yet?
We got one person.
All right, cool.
How you doing, Shore Billy?
don't even know if it's shorebelly.
I know. I was just giving him shit.
All right, well then let's get started with the show, okay? Because Mel and I need to be up drastically early tomorrow.
I'm not the one that makes the decision to go.
Yeah, so
I'm living in your world here, bro.
waiting on her.
All right, there we go.
This is Ray, Manchester United supporter and P1 supporter. Fuck the rest of the league. Red Devils are going to win this shit. Peace out, baby. Oh, and you're listening to DU Football Show.
Win what? The Clown of the Year award?
Yeah, that this weekend no go so good for United.
Sure
now, did
didn't.
it?
Sure didn't.
Hey, everybody! Newsflash: are you ready for this? It's a No Malort Monday. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way, desperately wanting to have a conversation with the coaching staff, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How
Yes.
you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Touch perturbed, but I'm doing all right. Trying to calm myself down.
It was either going to be that or a go-to-market reference. So I
Thank you.
decided to go with this one instead.
Yeah. Great.
And, of course, on the ones and twos, we have Producer Mel. Producer Mel, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. And Sam Houston,
Yes.
we have a mailbag item.
Oh, no shit. What do we got going on? Please tell me. Oh, okay. All right.
What the fuck is that?
Well, it's a Food Lion bag, and
It's
it
a
says,
present.
I've wrapped things in worse things than that.
"We hold the power and bear the responsibility." This is clearly something from the fucking sewing circle. That's for damn
Has
sure.
to be.
I don't think I have a pocket knife on me. I didn't think about that part of it.
I got it. We're getting it open.
Sam gets his way into presents. He's an only child.
Make sure the camera sees.
Well, right now it's an Amazon Prime box, so that's what we got so far.
I hate tape that doesn't break.
Yeah.
It just stretches. Fucking annoying. As we can see, Sam's having difficulty unwrapping the package.
Oh, because the fucking tape.
Because I think that's part of
Part of the point.
part of the point.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
lithium battery logo on it.
Fuck you all then. All right, so then we do the normal.
Push down,
Yep.
fingers under. Yep.
Well, unfortunately, it's completely wrapped all the way around. So.
Who fucking wrapped this thing? Is it another fucking box?
It's more writing.
Yeah, great.
The price of greatness is responsibility. So, all right.
Fuck's sake.
The point of a bit is to be quick and precise.
I was gonna say, is this make for good radio?
No, not at all.
Here, Mel, jump on it and mispronounce some more names. People seem to like that.
All right. Any more writing? No. Do we
I
want
was
to?
not expecting this many layers of.
Do we want to completely
Here.
wrap everything around? Yes, we do. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Graham. Because
I did that on purpose, I'm sure, to make it more
And
difficult.
then ready, Graham? Ready, Graham?
more.
Hold on.
of course.
Another.
Hold on. I need a clean take, Sam. Hold on. Give me 1 second, please.
Uh-huh.
10 minutes later. Fast forward. 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later.
With great power comes great responsibility. Okay, well, you know.
Are you getting the
Good
message
fuck.
yet?
And it's the
And it's
same
taped up.
it's the same fucking platitudes. Here.
And it's
just keep this till it's done.
Heaped up like a motherfucker again. Oh.
I don't even know if they're watching. That's the best part.
I can't believe it. If this is like a weed pen for you, I'm going to be really annoyed. You just got us to open it.
All right, so now we've got even more Go-Gurt squeeze box, which I'm sure has something.
Let me tell you something. I would fucking
inside of it too.
I would love if it was actually Go-Gurt squeezes right now.
I'm gonna be a dick and go through the side.
That's what you get.
Oh my God, this is brilliant. I'm a man that believes in the future,
Good fuck.
and
I can't believe this.
you know, you gotta support the number one overall draft pick
Get
in
fucked.
the Big Sam Jurgen Strand Larson.
That's funny.
Oh, that is delightful.
That's funny.
Oh yes, this will go up here, definitely, no doubt about it.
That's brilliant. Do we know who it's from, or did it come in anonymously?
This has got Shore Billy stank
Oh, yeah.
all the fuck over.
Big time.
Let me stop the video on that one. So Shore Billy actually dropped this off, Sam, 3 weeks ago, and you forgot about it completely because
Oh no shit. Okay.
I had COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
you had COVID, and so it was remote. He didn't want it to go on remote, and
got
then
COVID, you
we
got
weren't
COVID,
because
we all
I had
got
COVID.
COVID.
Right.
So this has been sitting and waiting for 2 weeks.
Hell, there is a lot of fucking tape and shit in there. So,
So yeah, to answer your question, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks.
very good. Thank you, producer.
The gummies I got from him came in a fucking doggy bag, literally. He personally dropped this off in a fucking 6-ring duct taped fucking.
For everyone to know, in our fantasy leagues, we talk about it during our injury time, which you find on Patreon. How do you find that, Mr. Graham?
Patreon.com/DU Football Show.
Very good. And like a good whore, the night we did the draft, we did 2 different leagues. We did a league that Graham had and a league that I had, and we drafted our people to be in the league.
Right. So not only are we playing in our own league,
Right.
we're playing
Points against
points
each
against
other.
each other, like league versus league in terms of overall point totals.
And we have 3 Malort cocktails on the line to whoever's league does worse.
Yes.
Which currently right now is me.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
not
you
by a
did-
lot.
You picked with your heart there.
No, I picked very smartly. Yours is top heavy and very bottom bad, and we'll be all right.
We'll be
all
fine.
right. So
We will be also fine.
And in all of it, I did my draft at the beach, and the internet conked out. And I had a watch list, and my watch list was people I was interested in later. Well, I did not know that they take the first person on your watch list.
Right.
I had the number 1 overall pick. Erling Haaland is the easiest decision ever. Imagine my team when we talk, because I'm in second place right now, and I'm like doing very well, right?
Yeah.
Imagine my team if it had the team I have with Erling Haaland. But auto draft, because the internet conked out and I couldn't do anything, drafted Jurgen Strand Larson, which would have been a great forward to pick in the 8th round.
Right.
Not number 1 overall. So far, he has gotten me an assist.
And 1 goal, didn't he?
No, he's gotten a goal. Yeah, a goal and
Yeah.
assist, and that would
It was
be
week 2. He was the first one to score for the weekend, I think,
Yes.
because the internet were ablaze with your praises, like
Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
that
like,
meme of the dude
yeah,
pointing to his
yes,
with the very smug look on his
Big
face.
Sam, genius. You know,
That's fantastic.
and
I love that.
Everyone's had a very good laugh about it. I have as well. I mean, I joke about it when we talk about it on injury.
You
time,
wouldn't if
and-
you were sitting in 16th. You wouldn't be, or 14th.
I really don't give a shit. We already know my opinions on fantasy sports as a whole, so it's what it is. But that is bloody fucking brilliant. I'm not surprised I got that. Like that kind of like that tracks is something that our fucking sewing circle would fucking do.
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
that is hysterical, and that will go up right behind me here. That will be up.
Of course.
Yeah,
Has to.
definitely. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. I
That's
might put it where the
fantastic.
Malort is hanging in the background like that.
Yeah, we
That
could
might
find a
be-
new place. It'd be easier to find a new place for the Malort.
Yeah, agreed. And that's very cool. I like that. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things. No, wrong. Did it completely wrong. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast and, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and DUFootballShow.com to get in touch via email.
Very good. And producer Mel, I expect that to be 86. Thank you very much.
I just wrote it down. Thank you for giving me something else, the 86.
For those
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So is the red-blooded Americans we are. We've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, you got a fun one tonight. I'm excited to get into this one.
I do. A brand new expression from the Balvenie distillery in Speyside, old Scotland. This is a collection of curious casks from their line of the stories of whiskey. It's a limited edition. What you have here is a 14-year-old American bourbon barrel. So this whiskey was aged exclusively in ex-bourbon barrel casks. And you have an alcohol content of 95.6 proof, which would be 47.8% by volume for those of you that can't do the maths. It is a lot of toasty oak on here. I was very surprised by that. It's not as upfront sweet as like the Glenfiddich 14, but of course the Glenfiddich 14, they're one of their sister companies, uses a finishing technique of a brand new American oak barrel. These are all used bourbon barrels.
Okay.
So a lot of that upfront caramel and vanilla and some of those sweeter notes that you would get from a new wood barrel are a bit toned down in this one. This is more scotchy than the Glenfiddich 14 is, which presents as a nice bridge between bourbon and scotch. But you can see evidence of both both styles of whiskey, rather. This one still is, it's a touch sweeter normally than Balvenie would be, than any scotch would be. But it is nowhere near the level of vanilla and caramel as the Glenfiddich one.
Honestly, first impression of this, if I did not know this was Balvenie and we were doing this blind, I would swear this was an island whiskey. I wouldn't go so far as to say an Isla, but it's got a little iodine to it. It's got a little Band-Aid, which really surprises me for something from the Spey.
Yeah, I would probably say this was like akin to Talisker.
Yeah, Orkney.
Or something like that. Yeah, Isle of Skye kind of stuff.
Isle of Skye, Orkney, Highland Park. Like, it's got a little bit of that going on to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
See what water's done to it. Water dials back. Well, now I know you're just drinking the melted ice water out of the cup, but I'm doing it.
I don't want to water it down, obviously.
Yes, with some diluted ice to it already. That iodine thing dials back real quick.
Yep.
Like, really fucking quick.
So wholesale on this one was, let me think, that, which means you should find it somewhere between $125.99 and $130 on the shelf.
And it's a limited release, so it's one of those things, it'll be out for a little while, but when it's gone, it's gone.
I think what we have is, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
I think. And we got in initially about 200 cases.
Okay, so there's enough that you can get it, and there's enough that you can get a couple bottles of it.
Probably, yeah.
Just don't expect it to be here in a year. It'll be
correct.
gone.
But now it also is $20 more expensive than their normal 14-year-old Caribbean cask.
Right, yeah.
So, a lot of stores so far have been reluctant to bring it in because of that.
Yeah, I could see that, but let's face it, when you're selling a bottle of this, you're already selling it to a Scotch-minded person. This isn't the bottle of Scotch that somebody goes, ooh, I should just buy a bottle of Scotch. Like, this is someone that goes, oh, yeah, I know this is a limited release. And they know that there's a price tag to a limited release because it's not just the limited release aspect of it. It's the fact that, like, with the rum cask, they make a ton of it. So because you make a ton of it, you can afford to have it be a cheaper price point.
Yes.
When you don't make a ton of something, it's going to come with a premium. That's just
100%.
Point blank how it's going to go.
Definitely.
Excellent. So what else should we also do, Mr.
Always
Graham?
remember to drink responsibly.
Lovely. We open with the fight for the final Champions League spot as we see a familiar face coming back, a slip up for another team, and a new kid early in this early race. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, Villa 2, Ipswich 2, Fulham 1, Forest 0. What a batshit crazy first half this match was with Chelsea and fucking Brighton. I mean, Palmer scores 4 fucking goals.
It could have had more.
In the first half.
Yeah, could have had more as well in the first half. I think all in all, he could have had a total of 6, probably, but he hit the post twice. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of shaved the outside of the post in the second half. But that first half, he hit the post dead on.
That first one he should have had, too. It was also, he was had a pretty good look at a fairly open net.
And I think, didn't he also have a goal disallowed?
I believe so,
So I think he put the ball in the net 5 times.
Yeah.
So he could have had 7.
Oh, in the second half, there was no goals, but there was 2 called back and a bunch of opportunities for Chelsea. So, I mean, that was fucking crazy.
You know that South Park episode where I think it's Stan's dad is just tired having wanked a bunch and the whole room is just covered. And I feel like that was the second half of watching these two teams was just a cum-covered stadium, and everyone's too tired from wanking so much.
We had said this when we were talking about it on Injury Time last week. We were like,
by the way, if you're new to the pod, not safe for work.
Yeah, this was going to be goals galore. There was going to be a lot of scoring in this match. We could tell that.
Well, both teams don't like to do other things. Right. I mean, both managers have shown so far a commitment to continue. Not as hardline as like Ange Postecoglou, for instance, if there is no plan B.
Right.
Plan B is do plan A better.
Right, exactly.
But these two tend to take their football to the other team as best they can.
Precisely.
And that does leave gaps, especially when both teams have players that can exploit those gaps.
That was something I want to talk about because this isn't just a symptom for these two teams, but it was very obvious in this game. But it's starting to become a symptom with a lot of teams. The game of footy has changed. There's a lot more playing from the back, right? Create your space from the back, which will open up more spaces in the middle of the field, which hopefully opens up more space up top.
Right.
Both of Chelsea's goals and a couple of both of Brighton's goals and a couple of Chelsea's goals also were all because the other team made a mistake playing it out of the back. Mm-hmm. You're starting to see that almost every game someone makes a mistake out of the back that leads to a goal, and yet no one's changing. It's almost like, it's part of the game. It'll happen from time to time.
It is now. I mean, it is part of the game because they'll see it as the rewards versus this one-off kind of we fucked it situation. The rewards to playing that way because of how much it draws the other team out are much more beneficial to the club as a whole over the span of the season. So there's a long-standing commitment from all of these people to play out of the back, no matter really what's happening.
Are we starting to kind of, after a nice hot start for Brighton, are we kind of starting to see the youth, the inexperience start to, even with their coach and the people on the pitch, it's starting to seem like it's starting to show?
I mean, I would tend to agree with that, except for 2 of the mistakes that were made by Brighton were from Adam Webster and Lewis Dunk, and they're no spring chickens,
right? Veteran players.
So it's
very
like
true.
That are decent ball playing center avs as well. So it's like, yes, it could be. I think Chelsea's press was decent. They kind of came in waves. You got one player gets hurried, and then 2 other people join the press when you would think it was only be one person.
Right.
So that player then runs out of options. You think about making those little triangles, which makes playing out of the back work.
Right.
Right. So we bring the pressure initially with Nico Jackson or whoever, Madueke, whoever it was, a couple times. And once they passed that ball out wide, Palmer would go, but so would Jackson or Madueke, the other person, or Sancho in this case as well, would also press at the same time, taking away both options in that triangle. And they're so committed to playing out of the back that there is no, it should be, oh shit, let's pop it up over the lines up to the forward to hold up. And they just didn't do that.
Has Sancho found a new lease on life, or was it just the fact that him and United should have never been a pairing in the first place? Or him and Ten Hag.
Him and Ten Hag shouldn't have been a pairing in the first place. Ten Hag obviously likes to do things a certain way. Sancho didn't fit into that. I think Ten Hag handled it well at the beginning, but then to not eventually put your arm around the player and bring him back into the fold, especially when he cost $70 million, was a terrible idea. We saw Sancho go back to Dortmund last season on loan and kind of make an immediate impact. Ultimately was fairly quiet the rest of the season, but for the first 2-3 weeks back was excellent.
Yeah.
And this season already has 3 assists. So we're, I think he's got a bit of a free roll. Hopefully that last season for him personally out in the wilderness has made him grow and mature a little bit and realize that, maybe being late for training isn't a great idea. Maybe I'll show a bit more respect.
Right.
But with how poor, which we obviously will come on to with Manchester United at some point this show, with how poor they are, Ten Hag kind of needs to drop his dick at some point and just play who's going to get him results and mix things up, because what is there now is not working. So, and towards the end of last season, it wasn't working. Yeah. So you would expect somebody to buckle in that situation, and he never did. So Sancho, excuse me, I think is now, as you say, new lease on life, now just enjoying his football and enjoying being out of that prison.
2 final thoughts here with Chelsea. Maresca made a pretty bold proclamation in his post-game presser. I'll just go ahead and pose this question to you. Is Cole Palmer the best player in the Prem at the moment?
Depends on what aspect you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Best all-around player? Probably say no, because I don't particularly care for his defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is he the best strictly offensive player in the Premier League right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's even
because Erling Haaland doesn't get assists, right? He's just strictly a goal scorer. He also doesn't really do much defensive work besides corners.
Yeah.
But that's his position as well. But he doesn't bring others into play. He's not particularly good with his back to goal.
Yeah.
He needs to be barreling down on somebody. Now, City are good enough to put him in those positions, and he finishes stuff off. He's the best finisher in the Premier League by far, by some distance.
But I'd say Cole Palmer is a better offensive player right now than
overall offensive player. Absolutely, he can pick a pass to unlock the defense, have the quote unquote hocky assist. But he can also provide assists himself. He makes
control the ball,
smart runs.
Yeah.
If I honestly, if you want in the overall player category, if you want an honest opinion, and this isn't my bias showing, I think you have to throw somebody like Bukayo Saka in there. 6 assists in 6 games. Scores goals, obviously. He's the penalty taker for both Arsenal and England when he's on the field. If Harry Kane's not there.
Right, of course.
And then now Cole Palmer's their penalty taker, fair enough. But Saka does a tremendous defensive duty down that right side. So as an overall full, complete, total package, it was kind of like the Mesut Ozil thing, right? You have to have him on the field, but that means you have to sacrifice a different facet to make sure you have cover at the back, because he's not going to track back and help.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I think you have a little bit of that with Cole Palmer as well, but the positives are so fucking good that you're willing to make that sacrifice.
I would tend to agree with Maresca right now. I do think he is the best player in the Prem currently. I do. And
there's definitely a case for it. I just worry about the defensive side of the ball.
I don't think Maresca asks him to play defense.
No, he absolutely doesn't. That's my point.
Yeah. So where Arteta expects Martinelli and Saka to play defense.
To drop back and help out.
Yep. Absolutely expected of
100%.
So I think it's a difference in coaching philosophy. So I'd like to see.
Even though both disciples of Pep.
Right. I'd like to see what it is that Palmer does if he is expected to play defense. So for me, just on the start of the season, who do I think is having the best season so far? I'd completely agree. Final question before we move on to the next match. Are Chelsea in the hunt?
Have to be. They're 3 points off the top?
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like they've turned a corner, and we sarcastically said it a couple of weeks ago, but it really is the easiest thing in the world, is when you have a squad of 43 players and you don't know who to fucking choose from, and you don't can you properly assess? The training has to end at some point. How can you properly assess 2 full fucking teams?
Right.
Full teams, reserves and first team, twice. How can you properly assess that and figure out what your best 11 are? Maresca comes in and goes, fuck you 25, these are my guys, and I'm only working with them. Now it's just like class sizes. There's more focus. There's more one-on-one time with the teacher. Your kids are more taken care of. Your arm can be around them, and they can start to actually form a relationship and figure out what the fuck the coach actually wants.
Producer Mel, you said you got something there from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Sorry, the sewing circle.
The sewing circle. I didn't want to rewind too far, but they're pushing back a little bit on you guys.
Okay.
Going back a minute ago, Taylor Thompson. He is the best player out of the 7,324 players on his team. And Shore Billy, Graham and Houston both serve up softballs. Graham's are just what the fuck off the wall.
What? What does that mean?
I'm just reading you.
Read it again. We'll try to work it out.
Graham and Houston both serve up softballs. Graham's are just what the fuck off the wall.
Come on. It's not true.
Villa go behind again, and but they answer with 2 before the half is even over, including another Ollie Watkins goal. You gotta.
You figured once he got over the line,
He's gonna start putting balls.
he's
in the
going to
back
start
of the
putting
net.
balls away. I mean,
And he
he's
is.
a fucking quality forward. He deserves his place in the England team.
Yeah.
But
And he did.
Everybody, Harry Kane famously couldn't score in August for the
ever.
longest fucking
Yeah.
time, right? So once Ollie got going, you knew he was going to start getting goals, and here they come. Especially when he's being pushed by Duran that much, right?
This match, I wasn't so surprised that they went down quickly because you're at Ipswich. Ipswich has not won a match yet.
I thought you were going to do the Bielsa.
So they haven't won a
We've
match.
got a charity program going on with Villa, apparently.
So they haven't won a match yet. I'd be more concerned about the fact that you gave up 2 at home to Everton. Like, that's the one you should be more concerned about, right? Like, how the fuck did that happen? This one, okay, fine. You know what? The home team, newly promoted, looking for a win. Yeah, fine. They went up. What I think was more disappointing, really, for me watching Villa was there was zero impetus to put it away in the second half.
Yeah.
There just wasn't.
It was all kind of summed up by the Emi Buendia, rush him in to take the free kick, and then he pops it well over the net.
Yeah.
And the dip didn't occur until the second row of the stands.
Yeah, it just
And it's just like it just seemed everything seemed a bit off for Villa in this game, in my opinion.
Mel and I were watching that game together. Mel, I mean, you felt kind of just bothered. You were just like, what the hell, guys?
Well, the first one, all right, but when they came back, and I was like, my God, are we drawing at Ipswich? Mm-hmm. Not walking away. This should have been an easy one, and the defense just were in shambles. There wasn't much direction. They gave them way too many opportunities, and we keep giving bad teams way too many opportunities.
It almost feels like
I see what you did there, Mel. It's a good thing that the computer screen's covering your face.
it almost seems like you guys are playing like we used to do, kind of playing down to your opponent. Like you've kind of you know how
I hope that's what it is, and we play up to our opponents because we're about to get hard.
But you did. I mean, the game against us was a tough game.
Yeah, it was a fantastic
Now
game.
we came out 2-0, but it was a tough game. Y'all had chances. I mean, David Raya stood on his head.
Yeah.
In that game, if you remember, with the double save
absolutely.
especially.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was really a single save. The first one just hit the crossbar. He didn't touch it.
I'm pretty sure he touched it. He got a middle finger on it. It's kind of like this one.
How's
That's for you.
How's the red colored sunglasses over there?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good.
But it's easy to get up for a game against your rivals, right? Against people that you're vying for the same thing. Same thing happened to us last season. Fulham at home. Mm-hmm. You almost kind of write it off in the locker room. You're kind of looking at each other going, yeah, we got this. Not a problem. Ain't worried about it. And then you go out and fucking draw. And then West Ham, easy. We're at home, no problem.
Yeah.
Where what City does, right? And teams like that, and what United used to do back in, before most of their supporters wouldn't have been born to see all of the stuff that we've seen 20 years ago. But what they used to do is what we did to West Ham the second time around last season, not letting that happen again. Walk into their building and go, fuck you 6-0.
Right, and beat the crap out of them early. Put it away early. How many times have we seen...
To have that intensity pre-match and not just go, oh, fuck this, because really, you're getting paid the same amount of money no matter which team you're playing. So you should be going out with the same intensity. And sometimes they just don't have it. And this was one of those times for Villa.
Liam Delap with the brace and the equalizer late in the game around the 79th minute.
Great little step over. I mean, this was vintage fucking, MLS, really.
Yeah.
Little shimmy, little step over. The defender comes inside. He takes it onto his off foot, puts it far post. It was brilliant.
Here's a thought for you. This is kind of a perfect signing for Ipswich, isn't it? He's scoring goals. You get him on the cheap. You get him from...
Because he doesn't have a reputation of scoring that many goals.
Right. You get him from a program like City. And the beauty is if he does really well, you sell him for a fuck ton to somebody. If you go down, you sell him for a good price to somebody. It's like, this is when you sign one of these kind of youth projects that came from a big club that just aren't getting minutes. Like,
no, he was at City, wasn't he? Because that's where his dad had him in the academy.
And this is, you just kind of go, like, this is how the system, when we talk about PSR, it's supposed to work, right? Normally, like, you think of Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea, got loaned out to West Brom, then got loaned out to Everton, then got signed by Everton. Everton later on sells him for record signing. Like, this is how that system is supposed to work, and this is how those smaller clubs have the opportunity to be successful and make money, right? And,
I have a new theory.
And that whole thing has gone away because most of those bigger clubs now aren't sending those people within the league.
Right. Did Everton blow all the money that they made on Lukaku? Did they blow all that money under Big Sam in the year of the 10?
Well, it was Koeman at first, and then Big Sam with the Cenk Tosin and Theo Walcott signings.
Yeah, all that.
Yes.
Okay.
They blew all that money.
Because I really, in my mind, imagined it was going to be Mushiri down at the Paddy Power down the street from the construction project, just playing video roulette.
Getting brilliant. The final thought on Villa here, is there cause for concern that they just seem to keep giving away early leads? No, it's
now. I mean, that is a trait that they don't want to develop any further. Giving away early goals to other teams,
right?
But they better be ready to play Brentford in a few weeks, right? Because they've scored 3 successive in the first minute. But yeah, now you obviously don't want to be playing from behind all the time. And I mean, how many times can you summon that energy to get back up for it? I mean, this one obviously was one too many for them.
Yeah, don't disagree. The final match, there's not a ton to talk about because let's face it wasn't really anything more than a professional win from Fulham. But the Cottagers find themselves in 6th place, and they're only 3 points out of first.
Yeah.
They're playing good fucking ball. Now, like, again, I still kind of look back at that Ipswich game and going, come on, guys, or like, the match with West Ham, like, you got to win that, like those kind of thoughts. But they're winning. This is a good win. This is at the City ground. This team hasn't lost a game yet until this one. Like, it's a nice fucking performance. And from what we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, Raul Jimenez on the score sheet again. That's now 3 games in a row. He's on the score sheet.
Great little swivel in this one as well to get there. Shows a tremendous. It looks like the Wolves striker that we knew. I was actually surprised to learn that was only his 50th Premier League goal.
Oh, shit.
With the hatfuls he scored at Wolves.
Yeah,
and those couple of middle. I think he was there for 4 years. Those 2 middle years, especially before the head injury, he was fucking good.
He had a 20-goal season, I thought, one year. Yeah, I thought his second year up with Wolves, he had a 20-goal season.
His 50th goal was a great way to get it. Obviously against a storied old opponent who's having a great time themselves, like you said. I think this is just a little blip for Forest, honestly. They still didn't play poorly in this game.
Let me
say this. Yeah. They both kind of played poorly, but they weren't classed out of the game is what I mean, Forest. They played to the same level their opponents did, really just couldn't get it over the line. Chris Wood did have a ball in the back of the net. It was rightly ruled out for offside.
Yep.
So, a couple of inches here or there, and things could have gone differently.
I have a slight change of opinion on Nottingham Forest. I still feel that they are punching well above their weight class right now. I think that this is, initially, I thought this was a team that's going down. For me, this is a team that's probably in 13th to 15th. And I have a feeling they're going to fall back to the pack soon enough.
I mean, but they do have, one of the bright spots from a recent poor Manchester United season was Anthony Alanga.
Right.
He's not Wolves.
Yeah.
What they needed was a
But at
proper
Forest.
manager to come, or at Forest, I mean.
Yeah.
What they needed was a proper manager to, I just knew was, so associated with Wolves in my head. What they needed was a proper manager to come in and sort shit out, because much like Todd Bowley, the Greek guy that owns them.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name.
Either.
Anyway, he Marinakis. He is a transfer window bully for shit players
Right,
that
right.
nobody really wants, like formerly elite players, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Anthony Alanga, Hudson Odoi, they have stuff to offer. Jesse Lingard should have worked out better based on what he did at West Ham. It just
Right.
didn't. You have a proper manager there now that looks more like the Wolves manager that had some tactical nous about him, rather than the Tottenham manager that got canned after 4 games.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to finish in the European places by any means, but I think Forest are going to be safe this year with some comfort.
Yeah. Now, let's finish here with the 3 teams that are in currently 4th, 5th, and 6th place. I'll start it so you can just kind of get a vibe of what I'm looking for here. What we think of each of these teams, just in a kind of quick thought. For me, Chelsea can score all the goals. I don't think they have the defensive strength to ultimately be a top 4 team. I feel like when they play an Arsenal, they will lose 2-0. But if they play Manchester United, they'll win 4-3. I feel like if it's a foot race, they're going to score goals. But if they play a team that's well disciplined, I think that's ultimately going to hurt them. And for me, they're still a Europa team in my eyes.
Yeah, probably. I would tend to agree with that, although, as you say, United have gotten worse. But last season, they were 4-3. That happened.
Yeah.
This season, I think it might be 6-2, but they'll still get the win.
Right.
Chelsea.
It's the offensive firepower is undeniable.
Is there, yes.
What Maresca is doing with the club is noticeable, and it's good, and he's got them going in the right direction.
But they are still quite young as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
I mean, you may have Cole Palmer now kind of coming into his own that could pick a lock.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just put Nico Jackson up against, say, Saliba and Gabriel, or Madueke up against Saliba and Gabriel, they're getting manhandled by themselves. Now, what we've done well with, like Odegaard, for instance, they now have an Odegaard. They have somebody in Cole Palmer that can not only score goals but create goals.
Right.
And he seems to hold the key to everything they do. And when we play, for instance, as you brought that up, when they come up against an Arsenal, for instance, as long as you have a very disciplined person to kind of man-mark Cole Palmer out of the game, so you throw Declan Rice or Thomas Partey on him.
Right.
And you just...
Partey was exactly the guy I was thinking.
Exactly. And you just say, stop him. No more than 2 touches before you put his ass on the ground.
Yeah, that's your job, is to worry about him.
But you have Partey and Declan Rice switching off on that, kind of thing, or whoever for Liverpool or whoever for City, right? Just trying to stop him specifically. I think you can stunt this Chelsea team.
Okay, I want this next because we still got 2 more to say. I want
gotcha.
this to be even quicker. For me, Villa, I wonder if the workload is going to get to them. I still think that they are one of the 4 best overall teams.
Absolutely.
But like this week, it's at home to Bayern in the Champions League and at home to United. So like, will this kind of start to get to them? It could.
Not this weekend, though.
And also them giving away the early leads is something for concern. Like, they need to be doing better for me.
I think they just need to come out of the blocks a bit more focused.
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
opinion, that's really what it boils down to, in my opinion. And if we're going to be concerned about anything, this weekend is not the thing to be concerned about.
True. Although United beat them twice last year.
Yeah, but United are worse than last year.
Fair. Finally, with Fulham, you know what? This is a well-coached, a well-developed squad, a good side. They've got 4 dynamic attacking players. They have a solid midfield. And they got one hell of a defense, and they've got a good goalkeeper. For me, this team is in the Europa discussion. They're in it. Like, they're probably going to end up finishing in a Conference League spot, like 6th or 7th place. But unless there's a major injury, I like what they're doing.
I think fifth and sixth will probably be good enough for Europa.
Yeah.
I think. Because I think one of the top four are going to win both the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Yeah.
So I think you'll get fifth and sixth place in the Europa League again.
Well, and also, how does the Champions League go? Is 8th place or 9th place even considered part of the discussion for the McRib?
With the expanded competitions, I think you might. Wasn't it a weird thing last year where the top 11 could have made a European competition depending on how things shook out?
At some point, they could have, yes.
Yeah, ridiculous. But yes, I think Fulham have a decent shot at a European place, whether that's the Europa League or the Conference League. I don't know which, but I tend to agree with you there. My only question to you is I'm very proud of my former Arsenal boys propping up one of the nicest clubs in the land. How do you feel about your former coach flying high while y'all are down in the doldrums?
It's very Fulham.
Are you proud as well?
It's very Fulhamish of them. We turn our attention now to the top of the table.
The meat and potatoes, as I like to call it.
City have a slip, Arsenal avoid a scare, and Liverpool find themselves atop the league. Manchester City 1, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 3, Leicester 2.
4, excuse me.
4, yeah, that's right.
Thank
My
you.
apologies. That's right. That last one right at the end that was on sides because the Leicester defender touched it.
I'll get to the game itself, but I have to tell you something about this. When they tied 2-2, I had my computer in front of me, and I had already written part of my notes based on what I was watching. Tegan had just gotten home from training, sat next to me, and I wrote, look at this. And I wrote Arsenal 4, Leicester 2. I said, that's fucking happening. And I wrote, thanks to Havertz and Raheem Sterling as my last sentence.
Right.
It was an own goal.
Right.
And Havertz. Come on.
Finally, let me get through all the scores here. Liverpool 2, Wolverhampton 1.
I'm just saying I'm a genius, that's all.
City take an early lead, but I gotta say, missing Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, you can tell it hurts. And it's not that Kovacic is doing a bad job. He's actually doing the defensive job that he's supposed to do, but you're asking an aging Gundogan and an aging Bernardo Silva to kind of carry this team, and they're not going to be able to do that.
No, what they need to do is unleash Aston Villa Jack Wilshere. Is what they need to do. Just let him run the 10 and run the game. Give him a freer role than what he has and put Doku out there to stretch and create space for him. That's what City need to do. And I don't know why the bald fraud's not doing it,
He just
to be honest with you.
He won't, you know.
No, he won't because the system is too rigid.
Now I will
Well, rigid in fluidity, if that makes sense. But he wants certain things to happen until the final third. And once you're in the final third, Thierry Henry spoke about this a long time ago on he was punditing and spoke about how Pep coached when he was at Barcelona. And he said, you have to be in certain places, make certain runs, do certain things up until the final third. Once you got in the final third, you could express yourself.
Right.
Right? And I think that's probably too late for Jack Wilshere to properly.
Jack Grealish.
Or Jack Grealish, I mean Wilshere. Jesus Christ, that's a throwback, isn't it? He's coaching now.
Yeah, I know.
The Jack Grealish to properly express himself, right? I think he was better at Villa running at players, for instance, right? And creating those fouls at the edge of the box and doing some of those things. He seems to get the ball like on the corner of the 18 all the time. And now he doesn't have enough space to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, don't disagree with that. I got to say, Newcastle perfectly executed game plan from the boys. Like,
I mean, we showed them the way.
Yeah.
With our 10-man, you know. Now, what they did with the full complement of 11 players was counterattack sublimely.
Yeah.
They gave Gvardiol a hell of a time in that first half, and of course, as a Pep side tends to do, just needle you to death. It was Gvardiol that got the opening goal. You know, and a neat little 1-2 with Jack Grealish.
Absolutely. Now, here's the question I asked for you, because it ultimately ends up being a Anthony Gordon pen that equalizes. Is this Anthony Gordon's team now?
Harvey Barnes would have something to say about that over the last couple of weeks.
I kind of think it is. I kind of think this.
Is Almiron hurt?
He's played a little, but he doesn't play much. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
So he's not hurt.
Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago. He's gotten one appearance.
You would have to say yes, because the kind of emotional over the last few seasons under the transition, the last few seasons has seen kind of Guimaraes and Almiron be the emotional kind of energy people in the game. You know, I mean, Almiron played fucking loads of minutes to the point of exhaustion in that first season. Now Anthony Gordon doesn't seem to ever sit, and even swapped flanks so Harvey Barnes could come in and start this game, right?
Yeah.
Now, Harvey Barnes has had a few more goals this season than Gordon has, but I think Gordon is coming into a leadership role in this team, absolutely.
I think you're starting to see some maturity from him as a player from that they didn't have at Everton, and I think he's relishing in the role of being the guy. I think he really is.
I think he is, too. And after that kind of unfortunate slip-up with the Gvardiol goal, as you said, Anthony Gordon steps up, Cole Palmer-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, just cold as you like. You know, cold-blooded from the spot and sent Ederson kind of the wrong way.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Mags pied it up. I had to shoehorn that in. I wrote that. I was very proud of myself for that pun.
Keeping it rolling here. Gunners completely control the first half. And then they give up one. And they start to get a little shaky. And then they give up a second. And the second, in all fairness, was a hell of a fucking goal. But
a bit lucky, but yes.
But at some point, it really kind of looks like as you're starting to watch this game, because that was, while I'm watching the Everton game, that was the game on my tablet next to me. And it was like, Arsenal going to bottle this?
Well, it was like, here it goes again, right? I mean, this is what happened with Fulham last year, right? It was like, here we go again. It's just started to feel that way.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the substitutes are made at the right time. I think the pushing. I mean that the Trossard. When Yeri changed the game, number one.
Yeah.
We scored from the corner that he won.
Yeah.
But he offered something different to what Trossard was doing, because Trossard got pushed out left.
Yeah.
When he came in for I think it was Saka, might have been Martinelli. Doesn't matter. But when Yeri came in, he offered something different that Leicester weren't used to, and they obviously haven't scouted him very much because he hasn't played very much.
True.
So we had a bit of a sucker punch there in that sort of situation. Trossard got a bit fortunate, obviously. Was it Ndidi that put it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had he not been there, or had he been in a different position, that ball would have found its way to Havertz anyway. I think the goalkeeper was far enough away from that. Now, that being said, the goalkeeper, what a fucking game. One of the funniest things I saw online. One of the funniest things
half from Hermanson.
I saw online. I even said to Tegan, while we were sitting here watching this, I said, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
It said Mads Gianluigi Herman phone or something.
It was just
like, what the fuck?
saving everything. I mean, it felt
It was
like
ridiculous.
eventually the dam was going to break and you guys were going to get the goals, and you did. I mean, that's what happened.
We did
and,
finally, yeah.
You know, and the own goal, and then of course the goal for Havertz, which Havertz very smartly, like right off the bat, was like, go to VAR, touch that dude, that's a goal, and which it is. And it was honestly all of us at the same. I was like, that's a goal.
He was
They
onside
touched it.
when the ball was struck, and it was the.
It was, but it was touched.
He was
touched.
He was offside, but it wasn't the Arsenal player that passed it to him.
Yeah, it was touched by a defensive player, which makes him automatically onside. So it doesn't matter where he is; he's onside. So
correct.
So the refs got that right, which
and he was
good to see.
onside when the Arsenal player touched it for the last time.
Yeah.
But what the other thing I thought was funny, I saw online with the Hermanson in goal, and it said, "If you're so fucking committed, go back in time and save the Titanic." You cunt.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Now
But good win. We needed it. Good win. We didn't fall into the Fulham trap or the West Ham trap.
Right.
Good win.
You got the win.
We fucking now tied on points, but we also did let Liverpool
jump us.
Liverpool,
a difficult start again. Like finally they get the goal, and it was Konate. It was like that really seemed to take a lot of effort out of them to do. It was like
it took forever to break Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves started really brightly, brightly.
That was something I was going to mention about Wolves when we get to them. Is just that this is an encouraging game for them despite the loss.
What got me is I don't know if they just are still mad at Diego Jota or what the issue is, but the crowd were amped up for this game.
Yeah.
Amped up for this game.
Yeah.
The players were on it from minute one. Liverpool looked shook for a second. Now, once they settled in, they started to kind of dominate the game, of course, which, I'm sure you'll be talking about here in a second, but it took ages. You're absolutely right for them to get the ball over the line.
How about this? I got props. So after the goal, Wolves, led by somebody's pressure in the box, gets the ball away from Konate. Puts
Glad
it
you
in
don't have to open it again.
basically got the hockey assist, and they get it put away and or tied 1-1, only to find then very quickly a penalty, and Mo Salah puts it away.
Yeah. Great pen, by the way.
Yeah. It's for Wolves are sitting in 19th place right now, and they were at the time in dead last, but Southampton's loss today moves them into the bottom spot on goal differential. They're still in a bad spot. They're still in a bad way, but we were talking about how their defense has been leaking goals. They looked a lot better, and that was against really good opposition.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you start to, if you're a Wolves supporter, I got to feel like you think there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Like, they're going to start getting some wins.
So the goal that Liverpool conceded looked a lot more like what Wolves have been doing the first part of the season, with Konate shielding the ball for no reason.
Yeah,
He was miles away from Alisson.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that was kind of shook by the Alisson shaved his whole face?
Yeah, that was a little odd, wasn't it?
It was like the first when I saw you be the Big Bopper and Mel's
you're
play
like,
that time.
You're like, where'd
I didn't
his
know what
face
to
go?
do. Yeah, I was like, "That who's that?"
What's
I
this
said, "Is
face all
Kelleher
about?"
hurt too?"
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, because Kelleher played midweek, of course, in the cup.
Yeah.
And then I think he played last weekend for some reason. I don't know if
Yeah, he
Alisson was
did.
ill or whatever it was. but he,
injury.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Because Kelleher's blonde. And then they were like, oh, great save by Alisson. I was like, really?
Oh,
That's why I've only shaved one time in the last decade.
so Liverpool, after the slip up at home against Forest, now find themselves in first place. And Sam, I gotta ask this question, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you my answer right up front, and we'll finish on you. Is this a 3-horse race? And I gotta say yes, until otherwise proven. I mean, the big,
It'll be proved in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
we play
but-
Liverpool in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say Liverpool. I think the answer is paused simply because of October. They've got Chelsea and they've got you.
Yep.
And I think that will tell us, because they beat the crap out of United, but United's dog shit right now. So it's like,
Right, but they've also had kind of weird performances against Forest, and then in the Champions League
Yeah.
at first against Milan.
yeah,
They had a very strange performance. They ultimately dominated the game.
yeah.
But there was a few shaky moments there. Conceded first, and it took them a while to settle into that game before they equalized and then went on to win it fairly comfortably. So, as you say, I think coming up against us this month and against Chelsea this month is going to show a lot. And they are still getting used to their manager, right? I mean, they have the quality to overcome a lot of these obstacles, but they're still getting used to that system, still getting used to that manager, and we'll see how it goes.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Brentford 1, West Ham 1, Everton 2, Palace 1. I mean, that should be bigger than but, it was also one game. Tottenham 3, United 0, Bournemouth 3, Southampton 1. Everyone, if you are going to play the Brentford Bees, plan on coming out of the gate prepared. 3 games in a row, they have scored in under a minute.
That's a record.
Yeah. Might want to be ready. The Bees are going to want to score early.
Right. And basically, if Wisa or Mbeumo is on the field, just bet the first goal scorer, Wisa or Mbeumo.
Yeah.
Because it has been twice Mbeumo, once Wisa in those 3.
Exactly.
But the odds are so good on it. On a $5 bet on each, you're making money either way.
For me, for the Irons, a very physical performance from them, but was it better?
No.
I didn't think so either. It was like,
It wasn't better. But before we go too far, I do want to mention Mbeumo's kind of miniature version of the Zidane goal against Leverkusen.
it was a gorgeous goal.
That
Jesus, it
left-footed
was a
ball kind of
gorgeous-
carooned up, left-footed
was
volley from the edge of the box. I like it. I like it a lot.
Fucking beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Only outdone by a couple other goals and we're going to get on to the next one. That's the one I think is the best goal of the weekend. But that, and I think the Justin goal was pretty fucking cool too.
there's an element of luck to that,
Yeah,
though, because
that's fair.
the
That's
Arsenal
fair.
player was there, and I'm not sure it didn't take a little deflection off his stud.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it was a hopeful strike. Now, he did it. He executed it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's back of the net. Yeah.
Right. And Cole Palmer's free kick is up there.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
Oh, my God, that was sick.
But the Embuemo goal here is a contender for me for... excuse me, for goal of the weekend for sure.
Oh, yeah.
If not goal of the
absolutely.
season.
So a draw for West Ham, that's fine, but this is a team that's a bit of the Bees are a bit of an injured animal without having Wisa. Like,
That
go win.
some might say endangered, Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Go
Or
go,
stressed. What's the next level up?
I don't know what the
Stressed?
next level.
Something like that.
Yeah. But go get the win. Like if you're going to be
Yeah.
a team that's competing for a European spot, go get a win. And
But that's the thing. They can't score after 5 minutes.
well, no, I'm talking about West Ham.
Oh,
in
about
that
West Ham.
regards.
Yeah.
And for West Ham too, because I don't think Brentford has any aspirations that they think they're going to be a team battling for Europe. I think they know they're a team that's going to be battling for survival.
I don't know about survival being the full thing. I think they're kind of planning to be 13th to 15th.
The amount of goals
My
the
issue
amount of
is-
goals they give up is troublesome.
The amount of goals they lost in Ivan Toney is even worse.
Yeah, so that's
I
troublesome.
think. Yeah.
And especially considering that already Wisa is hurt. And we saw this happen last year when Wisa and Mbuemo were hurt. They rocketed down the table and they had to fight for survival. Like Everton.
They've done that every season though. They've had a mid-season
Yeah.
slump.
Everton were safe before they were last season. That says something considering how bad Everton were last season and 10-point deduction total.
They can't be that safe.
But they
talking
were
about Merseyside versus West London.
Everton was true. Everton was safer before Brentford was. Like
Right.
and that's something to be said. So but for me with West Ham, I get it. You got to learn the coach, you got to learn the player, all that shit. You need to start winning some fucking games,
Yeah.
man. You need to start winning some games or you're never going to you can't win it at the start of the year, but you sure as fucking lose it. You can't qualify for Europe at the start of the year, but you sure as fucking miss out on it.
Yeah. Now, the other thing about this and the way it finished, especially for me, if you look at the last 15 minutes, I think both teams, with recent results on both sides of that ledger, for each team, they were just comfortable to get a point.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
It was like that old Seinfeld, like, if horses knew they'd be shot if they broke their ankle, there'd be some mighty fine stretching down the home stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Mighty fine stepping down the home stretch, rather.
Yeah.
I'll finish whatever. You win the race.
Yeah,
It's
go
fine.
right
Just
ahead.
everybody, the most important thing is your health.
I want to stay alive.
Yeah. And that's what this seemed like. The last 15 minutes in this, for me, were dull.
Yeah,
Were
very dull.
fucking dull.
Amazing what happens when you have your starting center back and your team is actually healthy. Like,
You give up a goal in 9 minutes and give them the lead.
yeah, and it was, and that's when he's getting his feet, steadied back in. But here's the key thing that I saw in this game that was the biggest factor, right? Teams were able to run on Everton because Tarkovsky is older and slow, and Keane is even slower than that.
And young. Weird.
No, Keane's pretty old.
Oh, now he is. Yeah,
They
yeah.
kick the ball over top of the Everton defense and try to have somebody run onto it. Every single time, Jared Branthwaite is the one taking the ball off their foot and turning around and progressing forward. I mean, it's insane, the difference when you have the established structured defense. That team looked completely different. And yeah, they gave up a bad set piece goal. They didn't look at Palace didn't really challenge after that.
No, not really.
And
They picked for me one or two saves, but really in a sustained way, no.
And then nothing for Everton in the first half. Dyche lays into him, tells them they got to be more direct, makes a substitute. Jesper Lidstrom just didn't have it this time. He had been impressive in his last couple of matches. Brings on Harrison, and Harrison helps change the game. And whoa, mama, that first fucking goal from Dwight McNeil.
Yeah.
That
was another contender for goal of the weekend, if not the season.
That's the one where we talk about where you put the ball in your hand, you raise it up in the air, and you walk it, and you just hold it in the air. That is exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing was, is the minute
It was
he got
dirty, that
the
goal.
minute he got that pass from Ashley Williams, and you saw him look and touch it out to the inside to his left foot, you're like, that's going in the upper fucking 90s right now. And it was just this perfect curve. And you're just like, oh, yeah.
If he was a bird and the ball was some shit, the top corner was Ashley Young's mouth. He just found it.
Although Ashley Young made a very good pass to him to create that goal. And I'll tell you what, that goal was beautiful. The second goal from McNeil was more impressive.
What a touch that was to trap the ball and then swivel and hit. It was Jimenez-esque.
And a hell of a fucking pass from Jack Harrison.
Yeah, it was a little hopeful from Harrison, I think, though. But it got there. Yeah, no, it's fine.
And, Everton, give credit to them. Hey, it's good to finally be on the board. I think you're going to start seeing this team win some games. I think they're going to be fine. And I've told you that. And I was very bullish on them winning this past week. I thought it was against Rafa where they lost. Rafa, it was a draw. Palace hasn't won at Goodison in 11 years.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I mean, the way Mateta finished the season, the way Eze is, and how poor y'all have been, I think, in terms of results at least, that's where I kind of played it safe on my bet and went with either or. Somebody was going to win the game. I did not think it was going to be a draw. I just didn't know who it was going to be.
No Decore for Palace. That changes everything. No Decore for Palace. They had a lot of problems last season without having Decore. He fixes a lot of problems for them.
Yes. The other thing about that, though, is even though you gave up the early goal, Goodison didn't turn negative.
Goodison stayed with them.
It can be a very negative place over the last few seasons, as we've seen.
It can be the most supportive and the most negative building in all of English football.
I think that was huge. I just love, as the players are walking out, and I don't know if you noticed it or not, I did, as the players were walking out to line up for the Premier League anthem and all that shit, and the shaking of the hands and coin toss, everyone in the stands, they kind of panned around the stadium a bit as they're singing Spirit of the Blues and all that stuff. And everybody's just kind of looking like this. And it reminded me of all those commercials of he went to Jared.
I love it. Very good.
No good.
You're proud of that one, aren't you?
I am very proud of that because I thought of that on the spot. I didn't even write that one.
I mentioned it last week on Injury Time, and we're going to say it now and then move on to the next match. I told you if things didn't go the right way for Palace, they would find themselves in the drop. Where are Palace at currently?
They're in the drop right now. I do think they have enough to get over the line now.
Oh, I completely agree, but
I think it's a bit harsh on what's his name.
But it can get this can snowball. We've seen it happen before, and we've 100%. Definitely seen it happen with this club before too. This has definitely happened with this club before too, and they've had talent when they've done this too. So
yes, fair enough.
This is one not to be like, oh, this is how it's going, but it's one you look out the side of your eye at the whole time and go, what's going on over there?
I'm sorry, quick question. I do want to, because obviously they sold Elise in the summer to Bayern Munich. Hell of a start to the season for Elise over there. Mm-hmm. Do you think, we've seen Palace in the past, especially under Roy, but the last few managers, even kind of dating back to Pardew and Allardyce, really, a lot fell on Wilf Zaha. Right, in those days, Eze kind of shouldered that for a couple of years when Wilf left or was injured, and then he had Elise to help him and have a two-pronged attack. Now Elise's gone. Is this too much for Eze to really support this team?
No, because he's doing it in all the other matches. He does not play well at Goodison. He does not play. Everton knows how to put him in the pocket, right? They know how to do that. For me, it is. Eze will have Wharton. Wharton is a very good young player.
Yeah, a particularly poor game here.
And he did. And he can help unlock things for him. He could be the pass that is the pass that gets to the goal, right?
Honestly, I think it took too long to bring Will Hughes in.
What I think hurts them right now is the fact that Decore is not behind him.
Yeah.
Decore is such a fucking stonewall. He reminds me a lot of, he's just a more physical, bigger version of Idrissa Gueye. That, just nope, you ain't doing shit in the middle of the field today. The ball or the man, not both. I don't care what happens. I'm going to fuck some shit up out here.
Idrissa Gueye had a pop from 28 yards in this one. That's a vintage little effort there.
So, but that, I think that Decore is the key for them. So he needs to get healthy and needs to get healthy quick, because that allows everything else forward to flow properly. Happen.
And if they dig themselves too deep a hole, it might be difficult to get out, to be honest.
Yeah. You know what? Spurs keep winning since the North London Derby, and you got to give them credit for that because that's a bit of a fucking gut punch loss to you guys. And
they were helped here.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I don't think that was a red card.
It was not a red card.
Yeah.
They would have won the game anyway. United were piss fucking poor.
Oh, United was fucking
They were
terrible.
up at, within 3 minutes or some shit?
Right.
Brennan Johnson tapped in on the far post.
But all you can do if you're a Spurs is go out and have a response. And they have.
And they did. Yeah, fair enough. That is completely fair.
And they're now in the top 10 again. They're not because they were in 13th at one point.
United, they were only 3 points above the drop.
You're right. But they're showing signs of life, and they do have good pieces. There is good depth to that team. Ange has options as far as how he wants to line them up. This team is a lot better, I think, than their record says. I think they've had some, that Fox's game at the start of the year was just dog shit from them.
Yeah.
This is a team I think is in 4th or 5th place. I really do at the end of the season.
If he could figure it out. But part of what makes Pep so good, right? Part of what's made Arsenal good over the last couple of years. Look at the first half against City from Arsenal versus the second half. Obviously, the red card changes everything, right? But look how everyone knew their fucking job.
Yeah.
And did their job, put their bodies on the line for that job. When Ange comes out and says things like, especially after giving up the winner to Gabriel, right, that the set piece, well, we don't really practice set pieces too much.
You should.
It's like, why? That's a weird thing to say.
It's a free opportunity on goal. It should be very important.
Especially after you, did this. And then,
what is it, something 1 in every 9 corner kicks goes in the back of the net?
Something like that. Yeah, well, for us it is. Yeah.
That's fucking important.
For us it is over the last 2 seasons. But then to also say stuff like, there is no plan B. It's just like, you have to adapt.
Right.
Pep doesn't play the same fucking way every game.
No, he changes things.
Sometimes Arteta's on the sideline, subs somebody in, and he's yelling at every single player, changing the formation on the fly.
Right, exactly.
You have to be able to adapt. It's top-level football. The different players bring different things. That's what I worry about with Spurs, is I worry that if the injury bug bites them again, they're going to be in trouble because they're not terribly deep.
No, I agree.
That's number one.
Yeah.
But number two, Ange seems kind of bullish and stubborn. And he's Australian, for fuck's sake. It comes with a bit of true stereotypes.
Gotcha.
If you can't adapt and you can't change the way you play, then if he goes out and plays the same way against City, he gets beat 6-1. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's my issue here. That's what I worry about with Ange.
Final thought on this game, and I don't really want to go too deep into this thought process, but why the fuck is Marcus Rashford playing?
I don't know. The whole United team looked disinterested, to be honest with you. And the Bruno Fernandes red card was not a red card.
No, it wasn't.
He slipped. There was barely any contact. Yeah. He wasn't studs up. It was around the knee, sure, but he didn't mean it.
Yeah,
and some common sense has to prevail here. And I think that actually ruined the game completely because United had a chance or two. Now Spurs dominated.
Let's also be fair here. That cunt's done enough to deserve to be sent out.
100%.
Normally isn't.
100%.
It's the smallest violin in the world playing, and it's fucking United who tend to get all the calls. So, again, I really don't fucking care.
But the rest of United seemed very disinterested in the game. They didn't want to be there. It looks like they're trying to get their manager sacked, honestly. That's what that performance looked at.
That's exactly what I gathered,
And I shared it on the Drunken United FC closed group on Facebook, which if you're not a part of, ask to join. It's a ton of fun. That's where all the hashtag bants are.
Yeah.
Drunken United FC on Facebook, like I said, just apply to join. But I answered. I shared a screenshot of a response I had to a journalist publication. I think it was a proper publication. But anyway, it said, what would you do to fix Manchester United? And I said, the first thing I'd do is fix a roof. After that was done, I'd talk to fucking Ten Hag and get him to fuck out.
Yeah,
and then I'd bench every goddamn player, and I'd bring up the youth team. Who's been there since they were 8 years old.
Yeah,
and I'd say, you want to play for this club. You want to die for this badge. Get the fuck out there and do it.
Yeah.
And if they happen to get a result, the next game, you're fucking playing again.
Yeah.
And until they lost 16-0, I'd play him, and I'd tell all those fucking chip on their shoulder fucking millionaire twat waffles that don't seem interested in playing for the fucking badge at all. Fuck Ten Hag. Go have your meetings with Ineos. Go talk to the owners and go, we don't like him. He sucks. We hate this.
Yeah.
We're doing our own team talks. We're doing our own tactics.
Yeah.
Fuck him, right? And go out there and perform and do like Patrick Vieira was a great example. He would fucking shut Arsene Wenger out sometimes. Go, fuck off, boss. I got this.
Yeah.
And he'd give the players a bollocking himself. Roy Keane, same thing. Wouldn't tell Sir Alex to fuck off because they would have stabbed each other being from Glasgow and Cork. But, you know what I mean? It's just, something's got to change there. Nobody seems to care enough. And it's just, it's sad. It's fucking pitiful. Even Rio Ferdinand called it a disgrace. It's bad.
Mel, you said you got something for us there? Okay, all good. No worries. Final match of the day, Monday Night Football. Cherry scored 3 in the first half, completely dominated.
The game was over. Yeah.
And what's funny is Southampton looked really good in the second. Again, with a lot of possession and no shots on goal.
And nothing to show for it
and they
except
got a goal.
their one goal. Yeah, exactly.
And with that and goal differential, they now find themselves in dead fucking last. And for me, they are spot on to go down. And other than, they'll probably beat Everton when they play us at Goodison, just because that's what Everton loves to do, is lose to really piss poor teams. I'm not seeing where this team's getting wins. I don't see where this team's getting wins.
We've said it about Fulham before, but at least they were good defensively, right?
Right.
About not being able to score goals. We said it for the last couple of years. Now, I don't know where Southampton's getting them. The Sheffield United Burrington Diaz doesn't seem to be there. He seems disinterested.
Yeah.
Can't even put a ball in fucking frame to be completely fair.
And now they're bringing him off the bench, And
what's that guy's Tyler Dibbins or whatever his name is, the 18-year-old kid?
Yeah.
He, at least tries, but he's 18. He's inexperienced and he's weak comparatively to giant center halves in the Premier League. He got bowled over a few times today, where he could have gotten opportunities, just wasn't strong enough to hold them off. I think Southampton have a lot of fucking problems. Aaron Ramsdale's making saves, but the dam's going to break eventually.
Yeah.
And that's just how I don't see. And Russell Martin, what's his name? Is that Russell Martin, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be a lot of the Ange kind of mindset of this is how we play.
Yeah.
Well, you can play that way in the championship again.
Sure money.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It's starting to be unsure money.
Yeah. No
I'm
shit.
down 500 again.
Yeah, well, because
Same way I started last year, I think.
Yeah, you constantly pick fucking, what is it?
9-way parlay.
No, it was 8, and this week it's 7.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting better.
Not good gambling.
It's just like quitting smoking, man. I'm cutting back a little by little, weaning myself off of it.
So by the final game of the year, you'll just pick a game, right?
Yeah. Enough about me. Let's talk about you.
I did miss because Villa ended up with the draw. Fulham did get their win. If Villa could have held on, I would have hit.
Villa and City fucked me.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I'm now down $118.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Seagram, it's still early in the season, so nice round numbers. Did you know that 20% of the time, it works 100% of the time? Gotta love when it's a round number. I gotta tell you, I'm going with a hunch this week. The odds are good. It's probably not going to hit, but I'm going for it. Ipswich to get their first win of the season at West Ham for plus 330. I feel like that team's on the verge of finally getting a W.
But you also, besides that fact, you have the atmosphere at West Ham isn't particularly great because the fans are miles away from the pitch. So any home field advantage you have is kind of negated, to be fair.
I think this is Ipswich's first win of the season.
And Ipswich haven't played poorly.
No,
you're absolutely right.
They haven't. And at plus 330, yeah, fuck it. I'll take a flyer.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a flyer. Go for it.
So I did a bunch of favorites.
Okay.
On mine.
All right.
So I've got City to beat Fulham, but I added in the caveat of over 2.5 because whenever City drop points, somebody gonna get hurt real bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Arsenal do play Southampton. So Arsenal beat Southampton, also over 2.5, because Southampton aren't very good.
Yeah, I see a 3-0.
Ramsdale's going to have something to prove. to Mikel Arteta, and I think he'll make some saves. Ultimately, I think we'll have 15 shots on target, and he saves 12 of them, and we'll win 3-0.
Yeah.
Liverpool beat Palace, Chelsea to beat Forest, and Villa to recover to beat Manchester United because they are absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
And I think that gets taken care of. So the first two, obviously, City to beat Fulham and over 2.5, Arsenal beat Southampton over 2.5, are same game parlays.
Yep.
So if that doesn't happen, one of those two things, the bet doesn't hit.
Done.
It's already dead. But this whole 7 legs pays me plus 1,006 cold hard American dollars.
Very good.
And I think this has a good chance to hit this one.
All right, so
I mean, it's all fucking favorites.
Mr. Graham, that is going to wrap it up. And I don't believe you had any parting words today. So
No, just Erling Haaland, stay humble, huh?
yeah, exactly.
That's it.
I would like to turn it over to producer Mel here to give parting words because I know she has something very lovely to say.
Well, I'd like everybody to raise a glass to Sam's Aunt Max. Online, most of you knew her as Ann Henderson. That was her, DL undercover name.
Her
think that was
online
her-
persona.
Yeah, that's her middle name and her maiden name.
Oh.
Yeah, sneaky.
That's one step away from your first pet in the street you grew up on.
We're very close to finding out her porn name. And she would have found that funny.
She would have
because
appreciated that,
She
yeah.
had a dirty sense of humor.
She was great.
Loved a lot of the bants and the memes and the jokes and was a big participant in the group. And we're going to miss her. And so, Aunt Max, this one's for you. Cheers.
Hey, Simbo, West Poplar Street. This one's for you.
Can't drink after that. I have to wait a second. Simbo,
Simba.
Mass Poplar
No,
Street.
Simba, West Poplar Street.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Aunt Max, thank you for never missing a birthday. Thank you for always staying up paying attention to my kids, and checking in on everybody. We only met in person a handful of times, but first one online to always check in, see how everybody's doing. Talk to my mom a lot online. Talk to my wife a lot online as well. Aunt Max was a good person.
It didn't always get our jokes, didn't always appreciate the immense amount of cussing we do, but she always supported us.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Big time.
always one of our biggest fans, which
Big time.
she'll be missed very much, and we'll be heading up to celebrate her life tomorrow morning, which will be today when we release the show. So, all right, next up is DU Does EFL, which is our recap of the rest of English football. And then we follow that up with Injury Time. Now, DU Does the EFL is completely free. We're going to continue streaming, and you can get it wherever you get your pods. Just look up the DU Football Show. Boom. You can make sure you're subscribing at that as well. But if you want to get any of our extra content, Mr. Graham, like Injury Time and Sound Check, how do you go about doing that?
Very easy to do. So it's patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $1 tier. You get everything extra that we do. And it's usually some pretty good stuff. As Sam said, it's a preview of the upcoming stuff. But Mel and I also talk about the side beers we've had, which Mel's beer reviews especially are quite good. Mine are decent.
Yeah.
And Sam's just drinks Ice House.
Yeah, well,
Let's face it, everybody tunes in for the fantasy recap.
we're having a slight flare-up
There you go.
of the old Kings, and with the boot on, I decided to refrain from beer this evening.
The old Kings?
Dumbass. The King's disease.
Oh.
That's what they call it, the old Kings.
I mean, I wasn't born in 1816, so I'm not
I've-
sure.
It's great because I've
No,
only...
some Renaissance shit.
He was
yo.
of drinking age then, so I'm not.
Mel,
You old fuck.
Mel, I have used that line multiple times on this show.
Makes sense why turkey legs are bad. Oh yeah, all the time. There's even memes about
Yeah,
it with the Kings.
yeah,
like
I've
there
sent
are
it to you.
there are
Yeah.
cartoons, dude.
Okay.
Way to be a good friend and stay on the ball and be attentive. I appreciate that.
Way to respect the talents of our listeners.
Till next
What?
week, everybody.
Good night. What do you mean? I didn't disrespect them. They're good people, except one of them. He's a cunt.
All right, recording is stopped. You're still live on the internet.
Hi, Internet. Are we going to go do our little break?
Quick break, and then
Yep.
we keep going so y'all can go to bed.
Yep, get it done.
So, Burb.
We are live on the intranet.
Hello, intranets. While we were away, apparently Taylor said, "What? Only one of us is a cunt?" yeah. That means, you know what, Taylor? Fair point. Well said.
All of you are cunts. You're just varying degrees of cunts.
Yeah, that's how it works. Oh, we will have a fun story for entry time later to talk about. So,
Nice.
involving Mel. So, yeah.
Dun dun dun. Even she
don't know what it is.
looks
I'm
perplexed.
going to be so surprised.
Admins in our closed group seem to have problems. Facebook, Mel.
Oh,
Take your beer. Let's do
Yeah.
a show.
Push the buttons.
what button? I can only push 2 buttons. You choose which ones. Taylor says, 50 Shades of Cunts.
Well said, sir. Well said. It's always the second button, but we somehow seem to get it right.
Yep.
What's beautiful is she does, like nobody will hear it, but Graham, you and I know. We know.
We know. Now they know, but they don't know what it is.
Key thing, Mr. Graham, is we're starting to hit the 857 games in 10 days for
Yes.
for all leagues.
For the
Get ready
EFL,
now.
yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Whew.
So let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a brief bias recap of the rest of the English Football League as told by 2 common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, looking perplexed, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is obviously the EFL show.
Yeah, I know.
Our lower league show. Our teams don't matter as much show.
Okay. We have listeners that support those teams. You should be a little bit nicer to them.
We should probably not use props that are all Premier League props. Why doesn't Geckel do better and send us a lead sticker?
I would say I would like some more stuff. I mean, our boy Colin, you can send me some Reading shit, like a little Reading supporter sticker to put up there.
They
What
can't
I'd
afford
like-
stickers in that club.
What I'd like to get is a bunch of stickers. Honestly, I'd like to get a bunch of stickers of all the supporter groups and have that be the backdrop right here. Do something like
Your
that. with
side
all the
is very
stickers.
busy.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Your side is very busy.
I'm a busy man.
If Shore Billy wasn't stoned, I think he'd have a tough time paying attention to what we said.
Exactly. And of course, on the ones and twos, producer Mel. How we doing, producer Mel?
All right, so on the mailbag.
No,
No, I'm just kidding. We're
Is
not
that-
doing that twice.
Is that a regular lollipop?
It is a regular lollipop.
How old are we again?
So if you remember, I've been having these because of the taste after the COVID situation that is still lingering.
I never heard about this.
Yeah, so it's still lingering, and so it helps
Again,
get the,
something she talked about on the show last week.
Latin the King's disease. Love how
You're an
he
excellent
pays
listener, Mr. Graham.
attention
I just get worried.
to all of us.
I just get worried that they're going to think we're an ASMR show.
Hold on,
with
hold
you
on.
doing that.
Although, shh, can you hear the crickets?
Yes.
It is kind of lovely.
Hey Mel, real quick. I got a bit I got to do.
Okay.
Quick bit. You okay, Graham? You need to go lay down. You take a nap. You seem to be forgetting things. You all right over there?
No, things are just all blended together.
Mel knows the bit. I think you might need to take a nap. Just relax, take a load off. You're a little odd there, buddy.
I'm not sure that I get the reference.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they get in touch. It wasn't meant to be a reference for you. It was only meant to be a reference for me and her. That was it.
Okay, good, because I thought I had Alzheimer's.
Yeah. It's part of the bit.
I can make the joke. My grandmother had it.
Yeah.
She was my one black friend, if that makes sense. That's another reference. Anyway, what am I doing? At DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. That's so rude
Hey,
to
Mel,
everyone
Mel.
involved.
No, I think
Please stop sucking on that thing. I'm getting horny.
Hold on, put the camera back on. Graham, I'd argue your wife is your one black friend.
Jesus Christ. It was a joke about white people that say that.
Mel.
I have more than one black friend.
Hey, Mel, I do think Graham needs to lie down and take a nap. We're drinking the exact same shit we were drinking before, so let's get into it.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up.
What a terribly offensive start to the show.
It's what it is. West
Can't be canceled if you don't care.
Right. West Brom still sit atop the league despite losing to Wednesday on a Saturday 3-2.
Same fucking joke every fucking time.
And it slaps every fucking time.
It's not Mason Greenwood. No, it doesn't.
Currently, first through. We just going for offensive, aren't we?
Damn. All right.
That was
Focus.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Fuckus. That's what she said.
All right, focus. Let's go.
That would have been a reference from the movie Mallrats, which was Kevin Smith's
Came out when I was
sophomore
4.
debut.
Yeah.
Sophomore effort. I mean, not debut, because debut would be Clerks.
The first one.
Yeah, exactly. First through seventh is only separated by 3 points, as Blackburn and the Blades both remain undefeated, but both are on 3 draws. The Rovers beat a 10-man QPR team, but they beat them 2-0. But here's what we got to talk about. You saw the highlights.
Yeah.
QPR's keeper, Paul Nardi, made 4 saves, and then his defenseman cleared a ball off the line in the matter of, 15 to 20 seconds?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, it was David Raya on steroids, this guy.
It was near post. He gets down and hits the ball, but it flicks up.
And to the center of the goal, towards the center of the goal.
Blackburn player gets a head on it. From laying down, he somehow pushes himself up, knocks the ball up in the air. Then it falls down. They take a shot across the goal. As he's getting up, dives, sticks out a hand, and knocks it away.
Yeah.
And then the ball comes back, goes to the goal line, and the defender clears it away. You're just like, dude, what the fuck just happened?
Wild. It was
insane.
wild.
Absolutely insane. And then bottled 2 goals and lost 2-0.
Yeah.
That's the
Of
funny
course.
part. You watch the rest of the highlights, you're like, I could have fucking had one of those.
Well, see,
Should have been
that,
0-0
again,
and us talking about what a fucking badass he is.
again, this was, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you're on your way to an adult encounter, you have a wee wank first
Yeah.
because you're young enough and sprightly enough to get that power back.
Right. Precisely.
He blew his whole load that one time.
And then
It's all gone.
And just done.
It's
That was
all
it.
gone.
And no more magic after that. It was all over.
Oh, it sucks.
Pompey had a 0-0 draw with the Blades, as we had mentioned them earlier.
That sounds exciting.
But they
Pompey's 17th draw this season?
But they still sit in 23rd and still look for their first win, despite having more draws than losses.
Exactly. They've drawn 17, lost 2
And as
so far this championship season.
As we hinted about at the intro of the show, for all leagues, this is where you now start to hit 3 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
You play Saturday or Sunday, you play Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you play Saturday or Sunday again.
Yeah, this happens during the championship season 2 or 3 times a season where it's just thick and fucking fast.
Really more like 5 or 6 because they end up having to play makeups from all the FA Cup and League Cup stuff too.
Right. Correct.
So yeah, and all the other leagues have 24 teams, so this is just how it fucking goes. Birmingham City have moved into the top spot in League One as Wrexham drew a 0-0 at the O's. Come on, you O's. Way to get a draw there. In the other thing for Birmingham City, too, is they still also have a game in hand as well. Reading, despite all of the financial woes, got a big win over Huddersfield.
Really needed some good fortune around that club right now.
And
It's
honestly,
been so bad. I mean, they're literally a serious conversation is being talked about liquidation of Reading Football Club.
They need to win as many fucking games before January that they can, because this manager is going to sell all of their assets. And when he does that, the coach is going to walk. So they kind of already need to be at fucking 25, 27 points. Like they need
At least.
Yeah, they need to be up there already.
But that's the thing. So the two most recent examples that three most recent examples that we've seen, two in England, one in Scotland, of a football club being completely liquidated. Now, Portsmouth have their history.
Right.
Somebody was willing to come in and restart a company called Portsmouth FC.
Right.
The current iteration of Portsmouth was founded in like 2006 or whatever it was.
Right.
If you remember.
No, 2013 or something like that, because it was
Whatever it
2011 that they went down.
Yeah, whatever it is. I'm just throw out a random
Yeah,
date.
they're they are
Recent.
a modern day team,
And
technically.
then Rangers
Yeah.
after them in Scotland. And then Bury, who are not a storied old club.
Yeah.
They're an old club, not a storied old club.
Yeah.
Been lower leagues most of their lives, and nobody came in and bought the name
And they're
and bought the
gone.
rights.
Yeah.
And they're just gone. They just don't exist anymore. And that's the saddest thing about the whole thing.
Yeah.
What we fail to realize in this country, especially, is that we are very disconnected from our sports teams, because really we only have the top flight.
Right.
Right. You can't get access to the Washington Wizards.
No.
You can't get access to the Washington Red Commanderskins football team.
Right.
You can't get access to the Orioles or the Nationals or the, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Right. You can't get access to these people. You don't really, it's not a community-based thing. Sure, they do charitable stuff, and that's fine, whatever. But Arsenal are involved in their community.
Yeah.
Manchester United are involved in their community. Everton are very involved in our community. People at the club. You, Sam, know people at the club.
Yeah. I'm a fucking American, and I know fucking people at that club.
That will answer the phone if you called them.
Yeah. And they know who Melissa and I are.
Exactly.
Like, they know us.
So there's a disconnect in the American psyche about, community, blah, 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 blah. When Bury folded, 11% of the town lost their job.
Yeah.
Right? Rangers, the kind of shit part of Glasgow, to be honest with you, but that part of Glasgow, a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
They're real legitimate earnings
Yeah.
and income and everything.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, again, Rangers are a much more storied club. Somebody came in and bought it, reestablished a team, reestablished something, but they started in fucking Scottish League 2.
Yeah, they had to play their way back up.
They had to play their way back up.
I
So
think they had to play at Elgin. I've seen that ground.
Yeah.
That's where they had to go play
That's
at Elgin FC.
exactly. But were they able to hire everybody back? No.
No.
They hired on maybe a quarter of the staff. Then in League One, hired on 10% more.
Yeah.
Then in the Scottish Championship, hired on another 15%. And then finally came up back to full employed capacity when they made it back to the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah.
But that's my point. This is a real concern for the people of Reading. This is a real issue when teams of this stature and teams of this history fold. Communities actually do hurt. Things go wrong.
Yeah,
That's
precisely.
a real issue. So it's amazing for them to be stacking points right now, and really they need to, as you say, as hard and as much as they can, stack as many points as possible by January, because you're absolutely right. Their five most important players are going to be sold.
And
Clubs buying those players know that they need the fucking money.
Yeah.
So if he's not, because it's League One. Say he's worth $20 million. I'll give you 14.
yeah. Well,
Because I can.
Yeah, it's going to be, instead of being worth $500,000, you're going to get $200,000 for him. And the owner, because he wants to walk away with all of his assets and he wants to pay off all of his debts, will look at the numbers and go, I need to get to $6 million. Like, that's what I need to do. And I will sell pieces till I get to that dollar.
Well, what
amount.
was it? Derby, beginning of last season or whatever it was. Derby didn't have a squad properly.
Yeah. Well, when they went down from the championship, they couldn't even afford. They weren't paying their players.
Right.
When Rooney was coaching them, he wasn't getting paid, and yet that team fought to the bitter end and almost fucking survived.
Yep.
The other one worth mentioning there too, when you talk about Bury, at the very exact same time, unfortunately they got lucky and someone bought him, was Bolton. That's in League One currently.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said with Pompey, same way. Somebody came in and went, okay, this is, they've won trophies, they've done this, they've done that. And everybody jokes about the Pompey Highway, but somebody reestablished football. They didn't miss a season.
Yeah.
They just went down to League Two.
Yeah.
And that was kind of that, But
Yeah.
somebody reestablished the company immediately.
They dropped down the tables real quick because they went right through the championship, right through League One, down to League Two, but they worked their way back up. Now, also worth mentioning, Stockport is, after being early top of the table, have slid all the way down to 10th place, despite only losing one game so far this season.
Have they considered consulting Warren Buffett?
Okay,
being
why?
the port of call for stocks?
Yeah.
They just made that up too.
Yeah, on the fly.
I got the fourth one on the way, Mel. The dad jokes are strong with me.
Comedic genius over here.
Thank you very much.
And then finally, again, double duty coming on. The most notable would be Blackpool, who is in 4th place, host 3rd place Lincoln in the middle of the week, and then travel to 5th place Mansfield Town over the weekend.
That's a big week.
So that's a big
That's a very
week
big
right
week.
there. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So I was just kind of looking at the schedule, and those were the ones that really stuck out to me.
Am I right in thinking that Blackpool hired Steve Bruce?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me.
Mel, can you Google who Steve Bruce manages? I'm sorry. Because the last international break, it was brought to our attention, obviously. We didn't talk about it much because we don't do shows on international breaks anymore. But Steve McLaren got the Jamaica job.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw
And
that.
I did hear that Steve Bruce was back in action. I just don't remember where exactly he is. And where is that?
He is the current manager of Blackpool.
I'm right.
There we
That's what I
go.
thought
He
I
is
heard.
Managing the Tangerines.
Apparently, besides salt and vinegar chips on the old boardwalk in Blackpool, because it is a resort town,
Yes,
Sam.
it is.
It is a beach town. Apparently, they have to either do a good fish and chips or do a great sausage roll.
Yeah.
Because Steve Bruce wouldn't go there unless the
wouldn't.
sausage roll was on point.
Very true. Very true. There's a comedian by the name of Brad Williams.
Extra sage, please.
Who does a impression of Michael Caine, and I can't do it as well, obviously, as he does. But the way he always does it, because you have like a reset word that kind of gets you to mimic the voice. That's how you do it. He does this.
Is that what I'm doing wrong?
No,
I don't have a reset word.
Well, whenever I do English, I'm like, right, I'll go back to right, and that's where I go from. But with this impression, it always makes me think of Blackpool because his reset word is a tangerine. I was out walking around and I looked down at the ground and there it was a tangerine. It just
That's
makes
pretty
me
good.
think of Blackpool every single time. The orange and black, pretty fucking stellar.
I think mine might be, you're a wizard, Harry.
There we go. You're a wizard. Very good. It's just as long as we can keep you away from telling Potter jokes, which we won't be able to do the minute he gets hired again.
I can't wait till he gets hired again.
All right.
We might start a Serie A show.
Yeah. Finally, League Two. Aki's match was postponed over the weekend. Well, because
Wimbledon's still a golf course.
still big shout out to Newcastle. That's who they were supposed to play in the League Cup. Newcastle gave them a shit ton of money to help them.
But also hosted the game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But they
The game went off, but at Newcastle.
Yeah, but they helped. They gave them a ton of money on top of
£15,000.
Yeah, to help them fix the pitch as well. Which
there was also some pretty funny donations. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you saw any of those. Mm-hmm. But the owner that sold out AFC Wimbledon and made them MK Dons that moved them and did this, that, the other was like, hey, so it's random English citizens that were donating.
Right.
Was and I don't remember his name, used that guy's name on the donation as
that's brilliant.
as their name, and we're like, hey, I made a fair few quid off this deal, so here's a couple dollars back, thank you,
For the
and
pitch.
sent them £2. And then, so there was all these people doing, and with the football ramble that we follow, that
Just having a piss.
somebody donated. Oh yeah, somebody donated as Barry Grinthals, which was a very inside joke from the football ramble, which is very funny.
Very good.
But Newcastle, by all accounts, it actually was fucking Newcastle that donated on that GoFundMe £15,000, as well as hosting the game, that is a great gesture. But it is easier for Newcastle than it is for any other team because they are a one-club city.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So
Changes things.
the police, if you had to reschedule a game in London, you have to talk to the Met to get the police force to be able to do
Right.
what you want to do
Yeah,
and
of
host a big event. Newcastle can kind of do that at the drop of a
Right,
hat, being a one-club town. But by all fair dues to them, they did step up. They did donate. Now, I will say they have Saudi Arabian owners and maybe could have just bought them a new stadium.
Yeah, probably. That would have
But
been nice.
it's fine.
Shrimps out for Macombi, drew Notts County, and now have leapfrog Aki as Aki sit dead last in all of professional football.
I don't like it.
Now,
I don't like it one bit, and I like this next sentence worse. Fuck off.
your favorite team.
Is this serious? This is real?
Gillingham are back in first place after beating Barrow 2-0. Although Wassel held serve as they defeated Colchester 4-0. An interesting
I'm about
stat.
to borrow a gun and go shoot Gillingham in their face.
The Gills, whatever. The Gills, even though they're called
From
Gillingham.
yeah. You can't have your G's both ways.
So our boy from our Reading supporter, Colin, sent in this very
Yes.
fun little stat.
Okay.
Wassel's keeper has only faced 12 shots. He has saved 8 and given up 4 in 8 games this season. Kind of a fun little, is it
Holy shit.
palindrome when it's like an interesting sequence of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of
Something, I don't think that's right, but yeah, I understand what you're
a
trying to say.
sequence of numbers. 8-4-8 off of 12.
Like a Fibonacci?
Yeah, just kind
A
of fun.
Fibonacci sequence?
Yeah, just fun. I like it.
It's not that either.
The big thing that is worth noting is that 4th place to 12th place in all of League Two, as they get ready to play their 3 games in 10 days,
Yes.
are only separated by 3 fucking points, man.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. What we need Aki to do, though, is join that 4th through 12th sort of area. We need them to be better and do better because we enjoy Aki.
And they're one of the original
The
12.
Leighton Orient of the North.
They are one of the original 12, and they need to stay in the fucking professional football league.
Yes, they do.
That's important, especially considering the owners trying to do things and
But
put
at least the
investment in
owner's
town.
actually trying is the
Yeah.
thing, right? But,
I think they're running out of money to spend on players is the problem. And let's face it, as like Ben talked about when we had him on the last time, is teams like Wrexham are now buying all the players that a team like Aki would have gotten on loans.
I am on vacation in a few weeks, a couple of weeks. Maybe, do we want to try to check in with Ben?
I would love to do that.
Where I could show up a bit earlier in the day.
Yeah, and we could do
be
a Ben
involved.
interview. I would
Yeah.
love that. I would absolutely love that.
I think that might not be a terrible idea, but I'd love to reach out to him. We haven't talked to him in about a year.
2
so.
years. We didn't talk to him last year. I talked to him the year before.
Yeah, we
so
should.
we haven't
And
talked to
I
him in a
couldn't
full
be
year.
there for that.
Yeah.
I'd love to get on the horn with him at some point soon,
Oh.
if we could, and make sure we still have that connection. Make sure he's still there.
Yeah,
Fuck, bro.
he's still there. I follow all of his stuff.
I don't know. I mean, if the pitch was decent, that Aki should be winning some games.
Yeah, well, it's at least it's not Wimbledon. Mr. Graham.
That would have never happened under Ben's watch.
Exactly. Ben would have been all over that.
They should have put up the K Jewelers logo as the bat signal, right?
Yeah.
K.
Yep. That's going to wrap it up, Mr. Graham. Any parting words?
Just fucking get Ben K down in wherever Wimbledon is.
Aki, win some fucking games. That's all we need from you guys.
Come on.
Let's get some wins. Come in. Get in, Aki. All right. Well, then next up is injury time, where we're going to preview the weekend's action. We're going to talk about our fantasy sports and all our teams, our 2 leagues. And, of course, we're also going to talk about the beers that we've been drinking. Should somebody want to find injury time, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing it?
Very easy. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that one sweet $5 tier to get all those extra contents that Sam is talking about. And, you know, we are still the People's Podcast. We are still a show that, if you can't figure out the internets, Mel will figure out how to get you the video anyway.
Very good. Until next week, everybody.
Good night, Shore Billy.